Now, I bought the Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day, and I'm not sure if it was the best decision. Now, I'm not gonna lie, despite being upset that the Switch 2 was missing some key things that I was hoping for before it even got released, I still couldn't wait to get my hands on it. And as soon as the Switch 2 dropped, like a true fanboy, I wanted to go pick it up faster than Nintendo executives finding a new way to make money. And now that it's finally here, I kinda wish I hadn't. It's not that the Switch 2 is bad. In fact, there's a lot to like. Overall look and build quality, beautiful. The new Joy-Cons, surprisingly solid. But the deeper I got into using it, the more I played, tested, and tried to live with it, the more I realized that this isn't the upgrade that we've been hyped to believe. There's one thing in particular that really caught me off guard, and no one's talking about it. So let's unbox this thing together, and I'll show you exactly what went right, and also where Nintendo might have jumped the gun. But alright, let's get right into the unboxing, and whether you grab the standard edition or went all in on the Mario Kart World Bundle, here's what you'll see the moment that you crack open that box. First off, the Nintendo Switch 2 console is right on the top, and it's slimmer and sleeker than I expected. It's got a 7.9-inch 1080p LCD display, but now with HDR10 support and up to 120Hz refresh rate, which is cool since it's a first for any Nintendo handheld. Even though it's still plastic, the finish feels more premium, kind of a soft matte that doesn't scream toy like the original Switch sometimes did. Next to that, you have the new Joy-Con 2 controllers, both left and right. They now attach, which makes docking them feel smoother and way more secure. Then after that, you got the basics. You have your ordinary paperwork along with Joy-Con straps. Still a bit clunky, but better grip this time. Joy-Con grip that lets you combine both into a regular controller. It's slightly wider now, so it actually feels a bit more ergonomic than before. Then there's the real upgrade, which is the Switch 2 dock. This one supports 4K at 60Hz. It includes HDMI 2.1, an Ethernet port, and dual USB-A ports. It's heavier too, with a more premium plastic shell, and that's also something that doesn't feel like a toy. Now, if you went for the Mario Kart World Bundle, all you have to do is go to the App Store, and from there you can play it. I think it's a really cool game that tests out the Switch 2, since it now features open world driving and dynamic weather, and from the start, it definitely feels like Nintendo's leaning harder into exploration with this one. And when I first got my Switch 2, I was curious to see if it justifies the hype. But here's what surprised me. Despite the buffed up price, there's still no included carrying case, no wire headset, and no screen protector. In my opinion, for a next gen handheld launching in 2025, that feels like a missed opportunity. Even a basic plastic cover would have been a nice touch, especially since they bumped up the price. So yeah, the unboxing definitely feels more grown up than the first Switch, but there's still room for Nintendo to take a few extra steps. You get the essentials and a few long overdue upgrades, but it doesn't quite scream premium right out of the gate. But alright, let's talk about how it feels in hand and what design changes that Nintendo has brought to the table. In terms of size, the Switch 2 is 4.5 inches tall, 10.7 inches wide, and about 0.55 inches thick with the new Joy-Con 2 controllers attached. It's slightly larger than the original Switch, but the ergonomic design ensures that it still feels comfortable during extended gaming sessions. The weight comes in at about 534 grams with the Joy-Con 2s attached, which is a bit heavier than the Switch 1, but it's still manageable. Speaking of Joy-Cons, Nintendo has made some notable improvements. The Joy-Con 2 controllers now attach magnetically, providing a more secure and satisfying connection compared to the original rail system. However, it's worth noting that despite these enhancements, Joy-Con 2 controllers do not feature the Hall effect sensors, which are known to reduce joystick drift. Nintendo has stated that the new joysticks are designed to be smoother and more reliable, but only time will tell if they can effectively address the drift issues that plagued the original Joy-Cons. Now, when it comes to the dock, it also has seen some upgrades. Again, it's now equipped with HDMI 2.1 support, allowing for 4K output at 60Hz. The design is more rounded and compact, making it a better fit in my opinion for modern setups. So overall, the Nintendo Switch 2 feels like a thoughtful evolution of the original design, from the larger screen to the improved ergonomics, all the way down to the enhanced Joy-Con features contribute to the more refined gaming experience. Now let's talk about the screen, because that's the part that you stare at for hours, and I've got to say that the Switch 2's display is kinda wild for a handheld. We're looking at a 7.9-inch wide color gamut LCD touchscreen with a 1080p 1080p resolution, full HDR10 support, and again, you have 120Hz on a Nintendo console, which is something that I never thought I'd say. It's not OLED like the Switch OLED model, and that was one thing that also really disappointed me. I feel like if you're going to bump up the price, then OLED should be the standard, but because it's Nintendo, you know that they're going to release an OLED model later on just to make more money. But besides that, the LCD panel actually holds up surprisingly well. In real world usage, the display is sharp and vibrant. Colors are richer than the original Switch, especially in a Mario Kart game where the deep reds and bright skies really pop. It's also significantly brighter. I once took it out midday and had no problem seeing the screen, even in direct sunlight. That was a pain point on the original Switch, and even the OLED sometimes struggle, but this is a step forward. Now, when it comes to the 120Hz refresh rate, it's not locked across the system. It kicks in for supported games and UI animations, and it makes everything feel so much smoother. From navigating menus to launching games and even opening the eShop, it all just feels snappier and more modern. And another thing that I really liked was the new kickstand. It wasn't just some flimsy little plastic tab like on the original Switch. It was very wide, stable, and actually useful. I can prop up the console anywhere at any angle, whether it be on my desk, bed, or coffee table, and it just stayed there. No wobbling, no accidental collapses mid-battle, and it was honestly one of my favorite physical features. And now for audio, the speakers are in a different location, and they're also bigger, and that small design change makes a big difference. Audio sounds more direct and immersive. Not as tiny like on the original. The bass is still limited, obviously, but you can actually hear stereo separation when playing handheld, which is definitely something that was huge whenever I was playing Mario. Now, compared to the original Switch, this definitely feels like a proper generational leap. It's not just a refresh. The colors are punchier, the frame rate's smoother, and the speakers don't feel like an afterthought. But alright, let's get under the hood for a second, because what powers the Switch 2 is a big part of what makes it feel like a proper next-gen handheld. It's running on a custom NVIDIA Tegra T239 chip, which uses an octa-core ARM Cortex A78C CPU paired with Ampere-based GPU cores. That combo delivers up to 3.09 teraflops when docked, which for context is more than 10 times what the original Switch could handle, and that's a massive jump. Backing that up is 12 gigabytes of RAM, which gives it way more memory bandwidth than before, and 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage, meaning faster load times, smoother transitions, and way less waiting around. Games launch faster, suspend and resume is nearly instant, and moving through the menus feels more like a phone in 2025 and not a toy from 2017. So what does it actually feel like in real life? Navigating it is finally fluid, the eShop doesn't lag like it used to, and downloading in the background doesn't choke the system. It feels more responsive overall, no stutters when you move quickly through the menus or scroll fast through your game library. I tried pushing it with some multitasking, had a game paused and another app open in the background, checking for a game update, and it held up really well. My original Switch would have buckled or slowed down immediately, but here it was seamless. And in terms of game performance, as of now, my only Nintendo Switch game is Mario Kart, and it hits 60 frames per second consistently in handheld mode, and even docked where it's outputting up to 4K, it held up in performance surprisingly well. You're not getting PS5 level visuals, let's be clear, but it's way smoother than what we're used to seeing when it comes to a Nintendo Switch. Now when it came to heat and noise, after a few hours it did get warm, especially in docked mode, but not uncomfortable at all when it came to handheld. The fan kicks in occasionally, but it's still quieter than the Steam Deck or even the Switch OLED when it's working hard. So yeah, this thing's not just flashier, it's genuinely faster. Compared to the OG Switch, it's night and day, and you finally feel like you're playing on hardware that's built for today and not last decade. But alright, let's talk about something that's crucial for any handheld gamer, and that's battery life. Now, I've only owned the Nintendo Switch for about 24 hours, but I played on handheld mode for about 8 hours and I didn't have to charge it once. Of course, when it's docked, it's already going to be charging while you're playing, but when it comes to handheld mode, I can see myself easily getting a full day's worth of battery life. But alright, let's get real for a minute, because as much as I was hyped for the Switch 2, there are a few things that had me second guessing my day one purchase. One of my first regrets that made me regret really buying this phone even on the first day was the fact that they're charging $80 per game. And that's very steep, because if you think about it, say if you want even 4 games, that money will really start to stack up. That equals about $320, and that's just 4 games. Most people who own Switches own like 6 to 10 games, and I feel like with the Switch 2, the numbers might go down. While the Switch 2 boasts backwards compatibility, over 100 existing Switch games and apps aren't supported at launch, and also a couple of streaming apps like Hulu and Crunchyroll. Additionally, there are some accessories that aren't compatible due to the new Joy-Con 2 controllers, like in the IR motion camera. And again, when it comes to Joy-Cons, Nintendo claims the new controllers are more durable, but they don't use the Hall effect sensors, which are extremely known to prevent drift issues. And given the history of Joy-Con drift problems, this feels like a missed opportunity since, again, the price is pretty ridiculous. And that also raises concerns as to how much it will cost to fix it. And not only are you charging more for games, and finally, again, when it comes to price, the Switch 2 comes in at about $450, which is a major increase over the original Switch. And when you couple that with a higher cost of games, it's a significant investment. So would I recommend buying the Switch 2 at launch? Well, if you're a diehard Nintendo fan, eager to experience the latest titles and features, it might be worth it. But for most people, I feel like if you're content with your current setup, waiting for future updates and potential price drops could be the smarter move. Personally, I wish I would have waited until around Black Friday where the price may have dropped, because at the end of the day, I'm stuck with a $500 console that's very limited in games, and I feel like after a few weeks, it might just end up collecting dust. And now I want to hear from you guys. Are you thinking about picking up the Switch 2 now, or are you going to wait it out for a potential sale, a few updates, or maybe a bundle deal? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, especially if you already own one. Tell me what your experience has been so far, any regrets, any surprises. Again, let me know down in the comments. And also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm going to give you guys a week update on my Nintendo Switch 2, so stay tuned. Peace.